the godfather of supercar spotting, the only YouTuber to have used the same outro for the last 10 years. He dresses better than you, has more blue cars than you, one of the YouTubers of all time, Shmee150.
Hi Shmee, I'm Guys.
And by the end of this video, you will understand why there will never be another Schmee. Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. The last video we talked about DDE. And for all the people that subscribe that are brand new, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Today we're gonna talk about someone that was requested a lot in the comment section, and that's Shmee150. Tim Burton, or Shmee150, has been making supercar content for the last 13 years. He arguably created, or at the very least, popularized the supercar spotting genre. Since 2010, Tim has been chasing supercars, filming them, and putting them online for everyone to see, and documenting his own journeys along the way, living the supercar dream, as he puts it.
And I've uploaded a video on YouTube on average more than once per day since, for 13 years, which is kind of crazy.
Tim's success on social media has been talked about a bunch on the platform already, so I wanted to talk about a different element that I don't think is talked about very much at all. There will never be another Schmee. And I know,
well, yeah, Jimbo, of course there's never going to be another Shmee150, just like there's never going to be another Amelia Hartford or DDE or fucking trash channel, trash content, unsubscribe, burn in hell for all eternity.
Yes, comment section, you're absolutely correct. But Tim, in many regards, I think is a lot different. It's easy to just look at his content and look at the channel size and all the different cars that he has and just go, well, you know, he's been doing this forever and, you know, of course he's this big. Like, it's so easy to just write it all off. But back in 2019, when I was still doing Savage Garage with Randy, one of the early collaborations we had was with Schmee. He came to DC and we filmed a whole garage tour with Randy at the Auto Corral, and it was amazing because it was the first time we had ever met Tim.
Hey y'all, I'm Schmee.
Ooh! And Tim was one of the nicest people that I had ever got the opportunity to meet. He's super down to earth and genuine, and he's someone I call a friend to this day. Over the years, we did more stuff with him, and it was always a joy, hanging out with him, filming with him, and something I've realized as time has gone by and as the landscape of YouTube has continued to change in the automotive world, more so compared to any other automotive YouTuber, his existence is really unique. It's something you couldn't replicate today, or even replace with anyone else. So, for more reasons than you think, there's never gonna be another Schmee. So, let's get into it. When it comes to automotive YouTubers, there aren't as many that have been in the game as long as Tim. As I mentioned earlier, since 2010, he's been putting out content. And if you watch some of Tim's old videos, it's kind of like a window back in time to a very different period for car content online, as well as just car culture. Anyway, the videos that Tim was filming, a lot of the content he was putting out, he was the first one to put anything out like that. Like, just as a reference, here's some of the other kinds of content that were being posted like circa 2010, 2011, 2012 of supercars. And let's not forget my favorite types of videos. Of course now, there's coverage on everything, everywhere for cars. But back then, Tim was really the only one showing this stuff. And this is really important for a couple different reasons. Number one, you put something up first, obviously it's gonna get a lot more views than if you were 10th. But the second thing was the fact that whether Tim realized it or not, he was building a portfolio of work that cemented his reputation as being one of the guys for filming this kind of stuff. And it's a British person. And you know how Americans are with British people. We like British people presenting cars.
Properly.
This is ridiculous.
So by the time the rest of the world started to care about social media, he was the guy you wanted to fly out to do a tour of your dealership, your collection. The guy you should pay to come cover the reveal of your new supercar or hypercar, because him talking about it now means something. And let's not forget, for the rich people, the bragging rights.
All those other collectors I follow on Instagram and their Facebook, I see them on the Shmee150 channel. Reach out to them over Instagram and email or whatever it is and just make it happen. I want them here tomorrow. I want them to show off my cars to the world so I can get a lot of views and people see my Instagram. I don't care what it costs. Just fly them out here and just make it happen.
Like, when you wonder why Tim got the opportunity to drive a CLK GTR, a car that people would give their left nut just to sit in, or trust to drive a Ferrari Enzo, a brand new Koenigsegg, or even recently, the $7.5 million Pagani Huayra Codalunga?
Tortellini!
It's because Tim is well, Tim.
Shmee, hello.
Yeah, you get it. I think you get it by now. Because Tim has been doing this for as long as he has, and he's gotten the opportunities he has, and all the opportunities have led to more opportunities, and he was the only person doing it for a very long time, that's led to him being the guy who does this stuff. And you can't really redo that. You can't make a new guy for something that already has a guy. As one could imagine, after all these years of filming supercars, Tim has become very well connected. And obviously for the kind of content Tim continues to make, not only is that extremely beneficial, in today's world, it's necessary. Let me explain. A lot of channels that pop up nowadays and get a lot of traction showing off the latest and greatest car content, they're not really creators, they're companies. Like CarWow, for example.
Buy, sell,
Car.
This is not a channel with a company. This is a company with a channel. A company that can afford to buy views through Google and Facebook from day one. A company that can afford to have a production budget, including paying this guy a salary.
because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow.
A company that can orchestrate content that only the finest sloppy-toppy 9,000 Epstein Island backroom favors could provide. Maybe just call it big corporate connections. How about that? Might be a bit easier. It doesn't mean the content is bad, it's just these channels, they're set up to succeed. Meanwhile, Tim is still just, he's Tim. He's still just an independent creator with a camcorder that you could buy at Best Buy, and more often than not, gets to film the same level of exclusive content that more and more now seems to get reserved for the people big business has decided is supposed to film it. Here's a good example. The new V12 Lamborghini, the Revuelto. March 29th, 2023, the media revealed to us the car that was going to be the Aventador's successor. And of all the different companies that were invited, many of which you know, like Top Gear and the whole production team behind all that, Tim was invited.
We're here at Centro Stile at Lamborghini's HQ in Santa Gata Bolognese.
Now, of course, like he wasn't the only YouTuber that posted a video on March 29th, but Tim was really the only independent creator. Supercar Blondie, for whatever reason, has an entire team behind it. And CarWow is this giant company, but Tim is still just Tim. Like, for us to have an OG supercar YouTuber like that covering the reveal of the V12 Lamborghini successor to the Aventador, something that's not gonna happen for at least another 10 plus years. Like, that's amazing. And by the way, like, that's not the first time he's done something of that scale. Like, he was part of the reveal of the AMG Black Series. That is so crazy that we have a YouTuber doing that. Tim's level of access in the car world, I'd wager rivals almost any other automotive YouTuber. Not only does he get very exclusive opportunities, he also just flat out gets opportunities that nobody else will get. Like driving a 1 of 13 Lamborghini Veneno, a Bugatti Divo in Dubai, flooring it in an Apollo IE down Spa, the racetrack, a fucking Zonda. Nobody else is going to get to do this stuff. Nobody else is going to be trusted by some of these big collectors or big companies that could offer opportunities like this to do stuff like this. And really, the only reason that Tim gets these opportunities to do things like this is because of all the years of work he's put in and all the different connections he's made. And we're not going to get someone like that again. Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, I wanted to be a YouTuber just like Tim. And I just happened to be as well connected as him, had all the same great relationships, and of course, I was also just as charismatic. Finally, I just happened to have a team around me that'll handle the editing, the scheduling, the monetizing, forget it, just all the things, everything. Literally, all I need to do is just talk nicely about supercars. You're probably thinking right now, that sounds like a great way to make a living. There is, however, one small caveat.
I had no idea what was going to lie in front of me in terms of travel. And these days, I'm on the road quite literally 300 days of the year.
Obviously, there are jobs that you go into knowing that you're going to be away from friends and family for an extended period of time. But for the kind of YouTube content Tim puts out on a regular basis, a new opportunity could pop up at any time. So as a result, you end up never saying no to things, regardless of when you were supposed to be done working or done traveling.
It's phenomenal as an effort and an undertaking, but I'm going to make the most of every single opportunity that ever comes my way. Unless I physically can't, there will not be a no.
And for any creator, that's a one-way ticket to burnout. But Tim has been doing this for years, and he's still going strong. And very similar to the whole video I made on DDE talking about it's a labor of love towards the end, you know, this is the same thing, where the only way you keep something like this going is if you truly love it. And there is no case of that is more real than with Tim.
Long believe that, you know, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I think I'm lucky to be in that space. And I enjoy every factor of it. I enjoy both the cars, the filming, the travel. So the things that would normally put somebody off from doing that because they need a break from their job or from their work isn't an issue for me, you know?
And that's also the reason the kind of content that he produces is even able to be made. You couldn't make the kind of content that he makes without traveling all over the world. So having the will to keep all this going and still clearly enjoy it is something I think only Tim could do. I'm lucky to say that I've had the privilege to meet a lot of different automotive YouTubers, and all of them look at Tim and go, I don't know how he does it. We all love making our videos, but at some point, like, we want to go home. We want to turn it off for a sec. We want to be able to relax and have a private life. But for Tim, that phone could ring at any time with the next big opportunity. Tim's life, his whole life, revolves around making this content. And I don't think we're ever going to have someone that has that same will ever come into this space again. Tim is an example of an automotive YouTuber that, in today's world, just can't be replicated again. He came up in a very different time on the platform. And while yes, it's easy to label Tim's success as getting lucky and being at the right place at the right time, that really wouldn't be fair. Because the reality is, it's so much more than that. Tim works harder than anyone else in the automotive space. And I'm not the only one that recognizes it. And it's all driven by passion. A passion for cars, a passion for going on an automotive adventure with friends, a passion for seeing something spectacular and having a good time to remember. And as the viewers, we're lucky enough to come along with Tim on his adventures and get access to and see the same thing he sees through the lens of someone that at their core is just a genuine car guy.
Bit of a scrape there. And again. Trackbone problems. It's a souvenir. That's how I look at it.
Wow, what am I doing? AMG1!
So for all the reasons stated above, I really do believe there will never be another Shmee. And frankly, I think the majority of us wouldn't want it any other way. Thanks for watching, everyone.